Hi everyone, I'm Emma, a certified dog trainer.
And I'm Kirsten, a certified dog behavior consultant.
And this is Dog Chats. Join us as we chat about dog behavior, having fun with your dogs, and building relationships. We will offer practical advice and a bit of humor.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 26.
We have with us today Dr. Kelle Kearney, our special guest. And Dr. Kearney grew up in the San Geronimo Valley in California. That's where I live. And she had a menagerie of pets. And I'm going to just start reading off this list because it's amazing. Horses, dogs, cats, chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs, rats, mice, parakeets, goats, snakes, lizards, an iguana, and a tortoise.
That's true. That's great.
Her specialty skills range from senior pet care to equine care, pain management, and even includes acupuncture. She has a wealth of knowledge and experience, and we feel so fortunate to have her as our special guest. She was actually, I think, the very first person we asked.
Yeah.
And it's taken a bit. But here she is, so it's worth the wait.
We're glad to have her here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So with all the animals you had when you were younger, it makes sense that you did go into the world of animals. And how were you drawn to become a vet? What motivated you to do that?
I think I was one of those children that were drawn to pets and just had a propensity towards wanting to connect. But I think my earliest memory of actually caring for a pet was when I was 5 years old. And I was spending some time with my grandmother, and a baby bird fell out of a nest, and it looked like it was deceased, but it wasn't. And we rescued the little bird. We made it a little nest and fed it, and lo and behold, it revived itself. And I spent a good part of that summer digging earthworms and feeding the bird, and just the reward of seeing its little beak open and feeding it. I know, so cute. I can still see it now. It thrived, it fledged, and it flew. And it started flying around the house. We let it go, and then it stuck around the property for a good many years. But the feeling of caring, taking care of something that was injured, nurturing it, and then having it get well, that feeling that I felt when I was 5 is really the same feeling that I feel today.
Yeah, I love
it. And that story could be repeated thousands of times for me through my childhood, adolescence, up until right now.
So you're gifted, and not to make this about me, but I have so many memories of us coming home with baby birds.
Yeah.
And they were dead like in 2 days.
Oh.
So I don't, in fact, I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know you could keep it alive. Well done.
Yeah. My grandmother might have had some special recipe, because I remember she made poached egg yolk for it, and we fed it with an eyedropper. Which feeding egg yolk to a bird seems
a little.
Oh, well.
It worked.
It worked. And then we graduated to worms and insects.
Oh,
as I think it was a little swallow. Yeah, that was a great feeling, and that just stuck with me. That was my first memory.
Right. So what brought you to the stage where you decided to pursue a career as a vet?
Yes. All the animals as a child and young adult taught me a lot of lessons, like working hard, responsibility, fortitude. My academic pursuit was not as natural for me as the love of animals and wanting to care for them. That was challenging. My mom was a single mother, a young mother, and I'm an only child. She worked full time. I had babysitter and my pets around, my animals around me, but didn't really have a lot of grooming for academia. I went to school, obviously, but talk of college and higher degree wasn't really part of them. And I think what really influenced me or gave me confidence was some mentors that I had, teachers. I went to a community college, and my English teacher was the first one who really took an interest in me in terms of my possibilities as a student. I wasn't the best writer, but he thought it was interesting that every single question, essay, question, or paper that he gave us, no matter what the topic, I managed to morph it into an animal answer. So he asked me about that, and I just told him a little bit about my background and my dreams, and he was just encouraging. Yeah, you can do this.
Yeah.
helped me set up a structure. And that was my first structure for academics in terms of, oh, okay, so I need to get through this hoop and that hoop and make my way along, which I did. Got into veterinary school, and that was just one of the happiest days of my life. And the rest is just history, really.
Yeah.
Here I am. Watch out for what you want. Happens.
Yeah.
The question for you, because we talk about dogs, is do you have dogs?
Oh, yes, I do have dogs. I have two wonderful dogs. I have a Australian Shepherd. His name's Wiley, and he's 9.5. And I got him from a rescue, Northern California Australian Shepherd Rescue, NorCal, Aussie Rescue. And he's wonderful. He was 4 months old when I got him. And I have Dylan, and Dylan is almost 10 years old. He's a Samoyed Golden Retriever,
Yes.
I think.
Oh.
They're both about 65 pounds, so they're bigger dogs.
Yes.
And I've had them forever. I had, like I said, Wiley at 4 months, and Dylan, he was about 8 months old. He's from Lake County Rescue. And they've just been by my side ever since. They're with me at work, in the car, at home, hiking, biking, horseback riding.
So they go to work with you?
Yeah.
Every day.
That's great.
I think that's a big reason why I wanted to buy my own practice and get my own practice.
Absolutely.
So I could just bring my dogs to work, no questions asked.
Wonderful.
All day, every day.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah. So
So we have a question for you. As trainers and dog professionals, what can we do to help people prepare for a vet visit? Or even if it's not to us, what could you say to our audience? Anything to prepare them?
yes,
prepare them.
definitely. So as a veterinarian, for me to examine your animal, I need to touch them all over, ears, paws, armpits, tummy, everywhere. So just desensitizing or getting your dog used to being touched and handled, ears flipped over, lips pulled up, just touching, all of that is very helpful. All the tickly spots, the toes, in between the toes.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. This may be too much to ask for many dogs, but it's so great when they can be comfortable lying on their side so I can look at their tummy.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of skin conditions happen there, and so I need to roll them up, and that can be pretty scary if a dog's not used to that. Also, if possible, and it isn't always possible, but if your dog is one that needs an outlet, some exercise, having them exercise and let a little stress out is wonderful.
Before the visit?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
before the
yeah,
visit.
Good.
But during
Hands are-
COVID, such a change, right? The
Mm.
people weren't coming in with their dogs.
Yeah.
And I wondered how was that different?
Yeah.
Because some vets have kept that practice, I know. Some of my
Yeah.
client vets,
Yeah.
they just take the dog back now.
That was such a weird time.
Mm.
I was, as a business owner, protecting my staff and clients and myself and being on the front lines, just winging it. But
Yeah.
taking the animals in away from the owners was definitely a mixed bag.
Mm.
In some ways, it was easier because there wasn't that whole component of, I shouldn't say easier, it doesn't sound right, of communication, but it was just, I could just focus on the pet,
Right.
the dog, get him taken care of, and out the door. And it was just efficient. But actually, it wasn't efficient because what I found was that when I'm in there with the animal and the pet parent, stuff's coming up,
Mhm.
and the conversation leads to better vet care, different topics, different problems.
Yeah.
And so it's just much more thorough. Like I said, in a way it was easier, but just from a health perspective, it's just much better to have the owner there to help out.
Yeah.
In terms of preparing a pet for
Yeah.
the vet visit,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
I
Please.
talk
Oh,
a
go
little
into
more about that?
absolutely.
Okay, so many of my dog patients are afraid, and they can be fearful enough to bite or snap.
Mhm.
And I just think it's so wonderful if we've had the time to train, owners have had the time to train their pet to accept a muzzle
Yes.
in a positive way,
Yes.
in a very
Both like that.
positive way.
Mhm.
I can always tell
Yeah.
because everybody's calm, owner's calm, there's a treat involved sometimes,
Mhm.
and the dog gets his muzzle on and relaxes. It's so much better than us having to do it, and then the dog associates the muzzling with something bad and scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's unavoidable, and we do the best we can. But if there's a chance to train that acceptance, it makes a big world of difference for everybody.
Yeah,
I love that.
We
Yeah.
love muzzles.
Yeah. I was just telling a client today, I recommend that to everybody. Just teach your dog how to use a muzzle. Both my guys know how to use a muzzle, and it just makes, especially for Kiva, she's not very happy when she's in the vet. And if I can put a muzzle on that she's already been trained to use, I feel like it does, like you said, it takes the pressure off of her, off of me, and it's something she's very familiar with. So it's not an extra thing she's getting stressed about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you either. When you said takes the little stress off of you too, that's another point. Help people prepare for their pets for the vet visit. As I know, it's scary sometimes to bring our animals in when they're sick or ill or just into a doctor's setting, but they look to us for confidence and to see if things are okay.
So true.
So if owners can try to be relaxed and calm, the animals are looking at that. And I could tell you so many stories about just how things went south because unfortunately somebody's upset or anxious or talking in a really high voice, something different that triggers their dog. So just as calm as can be, hopefully, and it's just better.
So I guess that for us, we should be taking some good deep breaths before we go in, because I know I get anxious when I go in there.
I get anxious now that we're talking about the muzzles that Mick is going to bite somebody. So I've got to do some muzzle training with him. Yeah. He's coming in next week.
There you go.
We have our ways.
Yeah. I know you do. That's I've gotten away with it. Because, I was even thinking that when you were talking about handling, it's amazing how creative you have been with my, I'll say 3 challenging animals. Charlie's not very challenging. But I think about the very first visit with Dakota, how you had her wrapped in a blanket and just moved bit by bit to do the handling, and like almost brought me to tears.
Yeah.
Instead of just
going right,
handing her over. And
I mean, I try to talk a little bit first to desensitize the situation or have the animal relax. I don't just focus on them right away. Just set the stage for not fear if possible.
You connect with the people so well. And that's such a huge part of this, right? It's like our job. You have to get the human client count. When you were talking about your clients are afraid, I thought you meant the humans. Because I think human clients are scared too. Too bad we can't.
I think when I said client, I did mean
the human.
Yes, the animal.
I sometimes intermix those. But it's a scary thing going to the doctor. And at our clinic, we try so hard to do positive reinforcement. We try to start that when the puppies come in. It's so great. We can just woo them with goodies.
Yes.
And they come in for each vaccine and they get more and more love and goodies and distraction. And then hopefully they just burst through the door.
Yeah.
That's always
And you
nice.
guys set, because Charlie burst through the door. And they set these patterns. I love that. Like Charlie comes in and Diana hands him a treat, and then he goes to the scale and he knows the routine, and then he comes back and he gets a treat. Kara comes out. But it's I really love that. It's not like we're standing there. What do we do now?
That's the one thing Kiva knows. She goes into the vet's office and she's like, there's the scale. I'm supposed to stand on it. So that's where she goes. When she's anxious, she goes, I know the scale. Yeah. I'm going to go for that.
And how do you feel about people coming in when it's not like an official visit and you calling ahead? And
I wanted to touch on that. I think that's great. If the dog is not super reactive to other dogs, it's pretty good. I think it's wonderful to just do some flybys to come in and say hi and get a treat and sniff around and leave. And or even just driving up to the veterinary clinic, walking around the front even is something, hanging out for a minute. And that's wonderful. We don't always get the luxury of having dog come in without some sort of traumatic background, or don't get them in as a puppy to
check it out.
Or to just train them to love it. So those guys do need some extra acclimation.
And it's good to call ahead to say you're coming in.
It's helpful.
So you don't walk in and you're busy.
It's different. It was a little more intense with more of the stringent COVID protocols. Just letting anybody in at all. But
that's true. For senior dogs, how can we support them, and any advice you'd give us for when our dogs get older?
That's a big topic because obviously there's ranges of aging and different sizes of dogs and breeds and weights and so on and so forth. But I think that just recognizing that senior dogs have similar issues of senior people, vision impairment, sometimes hearing impairment, musculoskeletal problems, arthritis, stiffness, and general ways to support would be trying to maintain proper body weight so there's not extra weight on the joints, maintaining mobility, walking if appropriate, checking in with your vet, obviously, bigger health considerations. Slippery surfaces are always a challenge for our seniors. When you have an elderly senior dog that's slipping or having a hard time getting traction, you may have to forfeit the beauty of your home for some throw rugs and things.
Yoga mats.
I was going to say, I have a client who just had yoga mats all over.
Oh, yeah, yoga mats.
Made me so happy.
We have those in our hospital for situations like that as well. Sometimes elevated food and water bowls for the longer legged dogs are helpful, so they're not having to crouch down or splay their legs to eat and drink. Big thing is keeping their nails trimmed properly.
Yes.
They're not exercising as much, maybe not getting groomed as much, and nails get long and then they start to displace the toes, the digits. And if that pet dog has some arthritis already happening in the paws, that's just extra ouch.
Good point.
Grooming, don't forget grooming the elders.
Yeah.
They want to be clean and beautiful too.
I know.
So and then from a medical standpoint, I mean, there's just so much to do to support our aging pets. Supplements and medications if necessary, alternative therapies, acupuncture, things like that. Massage. Things. And just supporting our senior patients, being patient with them. Dog walks won't be what they used to be. It'll be more, goes from 6 blocks to 3 blocks to 2 blocks to 1 block, and then it's a sniff walk.
Yeah. And if they don't pay attention and do all the things you thought they should be doing when they were younger, they don't do them anymore, that's okay. They've earned it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to people all day long. And 2 nights ago, I went out to the yard because Mick would sleep outside if I let him. And I'm trying to find him. And I'm calling Mick. He was sound asleep. I realized he's probably got almost total hearing loss. He was so shocked when I touched him. And I had been yelling and he jumped up in the air and I was like, oh my gosh, my dog's got hearing issues. And I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I found out a couple weeks ago that Dylan, one of my dogs, is going blind. He has progressive retinal atrophy and he will be blind. I don't know when, but this is happening. He ran into a gate and then a bush, and I'm like, okay. And when I looked in his eyes, I knew his pupils were a little dilated, but I didn't have the tools to really see the retinal degeneration. But he has it. Yeah, I know, but I was pretty sad. But dogs, they are so resourceful and they adapt. And he has his other dog,
I was just going to say,
seeing eye dog.
Yes, that's right. That's great.
And then he'll just need to stay more on the leash. Even now, knowing this, I'm helping him jump out of I have a truck that's pretty high, and I've noticed he's the distance thing.
Yeah.
He's done a couple of funny jumps out, so I'm helping him out.
So observations are always good to have a baseline of what your dog was like, and then to be able to notice these things as they're happening as they're getting older.
Or I think it's great too to talk to your veterinarian or dog trainer because you see your pet every day.
Right.
It's hard to be objective.
That's so true. Sometimes we go in there and we're like, can your dog hear? Because I don't notice where I'm getting too much reaction. And we notice stuff like that. And I'd say you might want a vet visit.
Another thing I tell people is to video, especially like the gait, because I think dogs get into CU and the adrenaline kicks in, right? So they don't always show pain. So I'll see a dog that's so clearly sore in their back end, but then they bring the dog to the vet and it's super excited and the vet doesn't get to see that.
Kiva, my dog, she gets so anxious that you can't see anything. because her heart rate is up anyway, right?
Yeah.
And if you're touching stuff, she's not going to show you that there's anything going on. So that was a question we both had too. So hard to know whether your dog's in pain.
Yeah, again, big realm of
Mm-hmm.
situation, different pain situations or manifestations. And again, observation skills, knowing your dog. Pain can be obvious or very subtle. Sometimes just a little shift in a behavioral norm can indicate something's wrong. Not sleeping in the same spot, just something you may notice that's a little off. That may or may not be a sign of pain.
I love that you noticed that because I think
Well,
not
I've
everybody
learned,
would.
yes, that's because I've had animals
Yeah.
my whole life and I'm also trained to do that. But I've, for instance, probably about 12 years ago, I had my beloved dog, is another Australian Shepherd, and he was just this unassuming, happy-go-lucky guy, just not demanding, just an easy dog. I noticed that he was a little more clingy to me, just following me around a little bit more like for a week or so. And I thought it was just what was going on with the stress of the household and things like that. I made excuses because it really wasn't obvious. He was just a little different. But it turns out he did have something wrong with him.
Mm.
He actually had a splenic mass, a tumor that was growing, and it was probably slightly uncomfortable for him. I mean, it was not an obvious pain.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that I didn't, no, it wouldn't probably have mattered. I mean, it ended up being, unfortunately, cancer. But that was such a subtle shift. And when I looked back, I remember saying that. Also, just some dogs don't know quite what to do with their pain. So they might just be very stoic and sit
Mm-hmm.
and act uncomfortable or disconnected
Mm-hmm.
or panting.
That's
Panting
interesting,
could
yeah.
be anxiety from other things, including anxiety from discomfort, but just panting, I know that's another possible indicator.
That's good. And I think a lot of people don't know that.
And we do tend to ask people, is this something that's just started or is this something that's been there a long time? When they call us in more for the behavior stuff, we always say, check with your vet first and just let's make sure there isn't anything going on before we go forward with our stuff because it may be related to pain
Yeah.
or something else that's
Or
going
it's a contributor.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure.
So, what patterns do you see seasonally? Are there things that we should prepare clients for? Foxtails is the thing I always think of.
Yes.
Emma thinks of a lot more than me. But, or
Well,
like,
the ticks seem to be,
Yeah,
the
she
ticks
just got a
seem
tick
to, I
bite.
just got a
They're
tick
out.
bite yesterday.
Yeah. A little bit of rain and
Yeah, just things seasonally that people should be aware of.
Yeah.
Coming up to the holidays too, that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
question as well. More food of different types.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned foxtails. That's probably one of our greater concerns here in this area in the summertime. Maybe some people don't know what a foxtail is, but it's basically a grass that looks a little bit like a wheat. And it looks very pretty and green, and then it becomes yellow and evil. The seed pods break up, and actually another name for it is speargrass, which I think
That
that's
really
more-
says what it is. Yeah.
Foxtail sounds
You're
really
like, is
cute,
there
right?
fox around? Or
It's like speargrass. Anyway, these little seed pods are barbed and pointy and pretty tenacious, and they like to go one direction. And obviously, little paws can pick them up. Foxtails can go really anywhere in the body. I've seen them burrow into the coat and go into the flesh, the skin. Paws, nose, ears, that kind of stuff. Grooming, checking your pet over, doing a little foxtail clip of fuzzy feet is helpful. There are some protective type masks or what
Outfoxed.
Yeah, outfox,
Yeah.
little funny looking things. But for the dogs that just have to sniff and snort and go through the grass, it's great. Yeah, I encourage my clients when they've brought their dogs in for foxtail problems. I like to do a little education on running the toes, which is where you just check between their toes every night and look for grass-ons or foxtails. If you do that every night and pull them out, it's unlikely you'll have a problem.
That's great.
So,
I don't think I've ever looked between my dog's toes.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Have you ever been in for a foxtail?
Yes. I don't know if you remember, I had just gotten Eve, and you called it right away. She had a bump just on the inside of her ear, and she had eaten a foxtail
Yeah.
and it tried to get out her ear but got stuck.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so you got to cut her open
They
to get it
can
out.
go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to get too gory.
Yeah. And I love that you said, do people know what they look like? Because I have so many clients from San Francisco.
They're
who
like,
don't,
what is that?
and they just don't even, and they grow everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
In the
that's
summer,
what it
and
is.
they're still on the ground now. I'm seeing them, but I think they might
They're
be a little
still
better.
around.
They're
You're
still,
still
yeah.
getting them.
Are you still
Yeah.
getting them?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, yeah.
So mean Mother Nature.
If you have them in your yard, you can mow, but you need to
But
rake.
you need to mow before. If
Yeah,
you mow, if
exactly.
you mow
When it's
before
green.
it gets
Right.
too long.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, but even if you've waited till they become formed, you can mow, but then you have to rake them all
Yeah.
out. And then, like for me, I just avoid certain trails and places during the peak season.
during that time. Yeah.
So
Would you be okay talking a little bit about mushrooms?
yes,
Because I work with puppies a lot, and that's
Yeah.
one of the concerns, what they
Yes.
put in their mouth.
that, and we're getting close to coming into the mushroom season, and we
Mhm.
have the death cap mushroom here in Marin County and Sonoma County.
What does it look like?
They can look red. I'm not a mushroom expert, like I can't give you all the details of the exact names, but the Amanita has a couple different looks. One that I've seen that's pretty obvious is the red top with the white
Yes.
spots. That's your
That's the
classic.
big.
But some of them can look just like a beautiful, sweet white mushroom, just like a benign type of mushroom, and they are not. And dogs can be attracted to that fishy smell.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, that's a
I
fishy
always-
smell. Interesting.
when
Yeah.
people bring puppies in, new dog owners or whatever, this might be a little radical, but my general advice is don't feed your dog mushrooms like from your salad, or if you're cooked mushrooms, just don't give them a taste for mushrooms
Yes.
if at all
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
And then if you do have acreage or yards, just
Scan
look
them.
around.
Because there's no way to tell which mushrooms, if they've consumed something, they just have to come straight to you at that stage because you don't know what
If
it
you
is.
even
urgency,
know,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's the sad part, is usually by the time they're sick, there's not
Yeah.
much to do. That's important.
So let's get ahead of it.
And just keep your dog on a leash if they're the foraging type
Yeah.
and you're in the woods. Don't let them run off and start eating things,
Yeah.
which dogs love to do.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Mm.
And then other seasonal things, heat, prostration. We've had some
Okay.
very hot
Hot
summers.
days, yeah, yeah.
Don't ever leave your pet dog in a hot car, ever. There's just no reason to. And also the asphalt, super hot.
Mhm.
Super hot.
So if you couldn't stand out there barefoot, your dog shouldn't be out there either. Their pads are a little tougher than our feet, but still I've treated a lot of burns and sore feet.
Mm.
So just don't pick the heat of the day to go on the asphalt
A
walk.
lot of people, they might think of the asphalt, but they don't think then about the exercise they're giving their dogs when it's super hot like
Yeah.
that, and how the dog can cool down
Yeah.
or not cool
Right.
down.
There's been a couple of times my vet clinic is near a post office and I can see outside and it's all blacktop.
Yeah.
And I've seen people walking and then they see somebody
Mm-hmm.
in a car. They stop, they're talking, and their dog is doing the jig.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to yell out the window or come out.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the vet,
Yeah.
can't you
love it.
see your dog's doing the dance?
Wow. I don't love it, but I love
and
the
then,
season.
and then for the holidays, so that's coming up, and there's all sorts of fun things.
Rum raisin
This-
cake. I feel like so many people now know that raisins and grapes can be potentially toxic to dogs, but
Mhm.
still some people don't know. It's not every dog.
Yeah.
But if your dog has that in its genetics, it's deadly. Raisins, grapes, anything that's not the normal diet could be potentially bad. I do see a lot of just basic tummy problems, which can put a damper on the holidays when you're waking up to doggy tummy problems. But scraps in the garbage, ham, turkey, whatever you're eating, lots of extra food, people over, not quite paying attention to the plate on the table. That's just part of it. We've all
And we
probably
put
been
stuff in
there.
different places than we normally put stuff.
Yeah.
So then the dogs are like, that's there. Let's go
And
check it out.
I think most people know if they have that dog that's the sneaky dog,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's just waiting and looking. And when the backs are turned, they've got it. I hear about that. I've never had one of those dogs, but I know it's true.
Oh my God.
There's videos of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
People
They're
have
out there.
cameras.
Yeah, I
Right.
have a story. And I was thinking like food gifts, right? So Finley made all these hot chocolate jars, mason jars with baking chocolate, sugar. You know where this is going, marshmallows. And they were on the kitchen table. And I drove her to school and I came back and Bear, the pug, got on the table. I don't know why. I had never done anything like that. He was on the ground. He had a paw holding it down, and the other paw was opening and licking it. We had to go to emergency vet, and they pumped his stomach. And I
Wow.
was like, he freaking got on a table and opened a mason jar. But it
And
was
he's a pug, too.
he's a bug, but
It's
it
not
was
like
just
he has a big jaw
Yeah,
that
yeah.
will
right.
hold onto
Just
that.
No,
like,
and he
I
wasn't
really
even
want this.
He was just holding it down and spinning it open.
How resourceful can they
Right?
be?
Yeah. Yeah. if
But
they
it was
wanted.
this thing that we'd never left jars of baking chocolate on
Of
the
course.
table. So
Like,
he was
like, yeah.
he was watching, right? He's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna wait till they put the marshmallows in.
Yeah. But that's it,
It's
even gifts
okay.
under the tree. If you know somebody's giving you food, do not put it under the tree.
Yes,
If that's
I've had
something that you do.
Quite a few of those calls, and
Yeah.
unbeknownst to the people getting the package, sometimes it is chocolate in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the dogs know that before us with their incredible sense of smell.
This is the question I'm actually most excited about.
Ooh.
That
Ooh.
have you noticed any significant changes in behavior, like behavior patterns
Yeah.
over the years? We talk a lot about that '70s dog, and I think I've created this like
Everybody
magical.
wants to go back.
and I'm sure it
We
wasn't
all
that
want
way.
to go back.
Yeah, but there's been so much, I think, focus on dog behavior and training, for some good and some bad. But how is that affecting?
I do think that I have seen more anxiousness or anxiety behavioral issues in our pets. And I have thought about that in our dogs. We're talking
Yeah.
about dogs today. I've seen it in cats as well. And people. That's just what I'm going at here. I feel like we're all just a little bit ramped up.
Yeah,
And dogs, again, I mentioned this before, this is one theory, I don't know, really are connected to us. They've been with us for 30,000
Yeah.
years,
Mhm.
evolving
right.
alongside of us. We're like part dog and they're part people. The world's fast now, and there's lots of social media, and our adrenaline system's on overdrive. And I feel like the dogs are getting a dose of that too. And then, of course, COVID, that
That
didn't
threw
help
everybody
either.
off,
That
yeah.
was an obvious thing for me. And the certain breeds that had a little predilection towards being anxious or didn't get that important socialization.
Mhm.
But I'm still seeing, I feel like, more anxiety, behavioral issues in dogs than I used to see.
Interesting.
So I feel like I have given that thought. Again, I think they're taking a little bit of our stress.
because I definitely think that. And I am asking myself all the time, like, why does it feel like there's so many people I'm recommending anti-anxiety medication?
Yeah.
And then I was starting to question myself. Do I remember what it looks like for a dog to not be anxious? Is this distorted? But I do think it's our culture and
Yeah.
our fast-paced life. I think some of it's genetics and some of it was, we're still seeing so many dogs that were born during COVID.
And expectations
Expectations, definitely.
of what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And then, too, you've seen this, the trend in breeds in that, and having certain dogs that are really genetically wired to be doing something else
Yep.
into a different family situation or a
Yes.
small yard, or
Yeah.
just going out on a 20-minute walk a day isn't enough, which seems like it should be and pretty adequate for some dogs, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
many not. And having more of their natural needs met based on who they are medically.
It's the people who bought a Ferrari instead of a minivan.
Yeah.
And now the
And
Ferraris
then-
causing problems.
And then we come in there and we tell them, this dog was bred for, and what are your expectations of fulfilling that dog's needs right now? Yeah.
I've seen a certain sort of trend of these sort of guardian dogs, mixture of big dogs, or, a little bit on the guard side
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
And that's been a little bit of a challenge, I think, for some people that don't really, like you said, realize what they're getting themselves into.
That feels satisfying though, because it's not just me.
So I have a question that is more a question for you rather than the dogs. How can people in general, not just us as trainers, support you as vets in what you have to do every day, and especially the end of life? We come in with emotions, and it's a special family member to us. But on the other side of that, you're working that almost probably every day. You have a little bit of that, and how you take care of yourself, and how we can support you.
Oh, that's nice to say. Yeah, we veterinarians do wear a lot of hats, and I would say it's so sweet. 95 or more % of my clients are loving towards me and supportive when it's that time to say goodbye, because they do realize how much I care and love the animal, and that it's hard on all of us, because if we've been lucky enough to foster a long relationship of trust and care, then it is just really like a family thing. So I do feel supported with just a little acknowledgement. But I've come to terms with believing that I have to know for myself that this is for the greater good of the animal at that time. So it feels right. It's still hard, but it's the humane and loving thing to do, to give a quality goodbye and just have that connection. So I do feel supported by my clients in that time. Yeah, it's such a bittersweet thing. It's an honor, and it's sad, and there's a lot of love and trust and everything that goes around. A lot of emotions. Yeah. But it's part of our circle, life and death.
So
and unfortunately, our dogs
don't live
as long as we do. No?
Anything else that you want to add, or things you were thinking about? Here's your chance.
Here's my chance to drop it. I'd like to add. I want to say, I just think it's wonderful that there are podcasts like this that people listen to, the greater good of gaining knowledge about understanding their pet, their dogs, helping them. So important, because these guys are really a special creature to have, and taking great care of them is essential. I was going to also bring in, I might have said this one first, but just be aware when you are thinking of getting a dog, bringing a dog into your life, into your family. It's a big commitment, and acting out of emotion or passion in the moment may not always be the best way to go. Being responsible even in that moment, realizing what you're getting yourself into, making sure it's the right fit for the family and yourself, financially, emotionally, physically, all of those things. There's so many great dogs out there in the world, and rescues, and sizes and shapes and personalities, that there's somebody out there that it should a good fit. So ask your friends or your trainers or your vets. If you have any questions, you should feel good about your decision, because the guys that get returned back or given up for adoption, it's just real hard on them.
So true.
They're sensitive.
Yes.
Right? You guys see that.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope we can get you to come back again.
I just learned so much. Look between the toes for foxtails. Never done it.
There you go.
Raisins. Work on muzzle acclimating Mick next week. How can people find you? Or
I'm in San Geronimo Valley Vet Clinic.
Thank you for being with us, and everybody have a good holiday season.
Good, safe holiday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was very fun, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys again.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll put the San Geronimo Valley Vet Clinic webpage in the show notes so people can look up Dr. Kearney.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in today, and hope you'll join us for our next episode. You can reach Emma at
ecdogtraining.com or on Instagram at ecdog_training, and Kirsten at
kwhappydogs.com or on Facebook at kwhappydogs. Don't forget to hit subscribe. See you next time.